Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. I'm extremely happy of having each of you here and very excited about what we're living today and the things that we have to talk about. The other day, I was having a conversation with one of our customers a couple of weeks ago, and he said to me a very important thing that really, make an impact on me. And it was that the only thing that is going faster than technology is consumer expectations. And that is so true because every company in the planet, every government in the planet needs to be apt to that task. And those expectations are growing because we have great examples of what consumers should expect when they are dealing with the brands or governments they love. Sometimes they don't. So this is very intriguing, and the fact that we are transforming and we are helping organizations to transform is something that we are developing and growing every year. And now, from the research that we have done, we know that about 87% of the companies are engaged in making that cognitive and digital transformation happening. But only 28% of them, 1/3, let's say, they really think that they are being successful with that transformation. And that says a lot about what's going on in the technology market. Because what's happening is that millions of companies are engaging other companies, technology providers, agencies, any kind of vendor or partner to help them go through that process. But most of them are not being successful. So that triggers, I would say, a much larger question is, are those companies that are trying to help those organizations in the world ready for that transformation? Are those companies that are trying to push and foster digital and cognitive transformation ready for that? And my short answer to that is not really. And why I'm saying not really? Because I think that most of those organizations has not been reinventing themselves into this new era. And I'm saying this because numbers are telling that. So as a way of understanding what's going on with those numbers, we can extrapolate and say that if that success is not coming, if 87% of the companies are trying to change that, and only 28% are being able to say, yes, I'm ready, there's a huge disconnection between what they are receiving from the partners that they are getting and what they are expecting to receive. So the thing is, traditional solutions clearly don't work. And when we engage with companies and we are successful as Globant making that transformation, I start as a CEO of a company, I start to analyze which are the reasons why that transformation are being successful. And most of the answers I start finding has to do with the things we do. So today I decided in my third, Converge in the New York Stock Exchange to go through what makes Globant different and how we have been able to evolve what we have been doing, reinvent what we have been doing in order to be successful with these transformations. And I would synthesize those points in three main categories. The first one is our inception, how we got created when we got created. That's why we say we are digitally natives. And the first idea that came to us was, we're not just consultants, we're not just engineers, we're not just designers. We try to blend those things in the same culture, in the same roof, in the same concept, and to have engineering together with innovation and design and make it scale. And that's something extremely important because experiences are not just created by engineers. Great experiences are created by multidisciplinary teams coming together and delivering the best for them. And that comes from the first days of Globant. That's why it's so important. The second idea was to organize within that unique and inception vision many, many years ago, instead of going through the traditional industry organization, to go through what we call the studio focus. If you have interacted with Globant, if not, but if you have interacted with Globant, you may see that we have gone through a process of going deep into those areas that makes you really different when you need to work with us and you need to transform. Just a few weeks ago, we have launched our new studio, Business Hacking, which is about trying to hack your business, but not hacking in the security aspect. Try to hack your business in terms of how to challenge your business, how to change your business into the next big idea. And this is extremely important for us. And now we're engaging conversations with many of our customers to understand how to help them to change and to evolve their business, understanding deep how they work. In the same way I'm talking about Business Hacking Studio, I could talk about Artificial Intelligence Studio, or the Big Data Studio, or the Internet of Things Studio, or the Mobile Studio, and like that we have 20 different studios, each of them designed for that, designed to understand how to make an impact in what we are building and the experience we are building for each of our customers. So these two concepts, the idea of engineering, design, and innovation, plus the idea of the studios, connect us with the inception of the company, how we created the company. That's why we call ourselves digitally native. But then we started to grow. And suddenly, from the 4 founders we were 17 years ago, we started being more people and more Globers. And suddenly, we were, thousands of Globers. And we, at that time, about 8 years ago, we were still being a command and control organization. And we were having big problems to scale up. That means that every single Glober working with our customer was expecting to receive an order from someone in the organization to move. And that's the characteristics of pretty much all the companies in the space. They are huge command and control organizations. Well, at Globant, the second step and the second thing we did was to flip the org chart, was to put our pods, our agile pods, on the top. And each of those pods will have the biggest possible degree of autonomy. And let me tell you one thing. As CEO of this company, running this company from a long time ago, there's one single thing that changed the quality of our delivery, and was this. Was the fact that we were able to pack our people into very small teams, extremely autonomous, up to the point they have their own name, their own identity. They have their own constitution. So each pod pledges for that constitution, and each pod that has a name will define different roles. For example, who's the entrepreneur, who's the professor, who's the teacher, who's the polisher, who's going to be the guy that will keep on following the metrics. And that's extremely important for us. Even today, we're allowing those pods to define who's going to get a promotion. They will vote inside the pod and will define who's going to get the next 20, 30% of the promotions we are giving in the company. And that single event created a huge change in the quality of how we deliver to our customers. So that's why I'm bringing it today, because I'm trying to transmit that how you organize the company, how you put together that autonomy has a lot to do with the quality and with the achievements of the roles and the things you need to achieve. So the other point that is very important on how we organize the company was to maintain a very flat organization. At Globant, you won't find more than 3 or 4 levels between the top, where our pods are, and the bottom, where I am. All the rest of the organization is supporting those pods to be successful. But to maintain that organization flat, we need to go into technology. We're able to manage and to keep this organization flat because we have been used, as Gilbert described today in the morning, an operating system that allows us to understand what's going on in that organization. And that operating system is telling us who are those guys that are really making the difference for us in front of our customers. Who are those guys that are the connectors, the guys that are the trainers, the guys that really make us different. And also it's telling us, as Gilbert said in the morning, who is more likely to lead the organization than other people. And that's a huge tool to manage an organization in a flat way. And let me tell you, if this technology would have not existed for us, it would have been impossible to keep on having this organization growing and understanding what's going on when we are now, I will correct JJ, 12,000 people. So this for me is the second thing, is how we are organized and how we use technology to keep on expanding our culture and to keep on making us successful. So first, on the inception, engineering, innovation, and design, plus our studios. Then, when we grew, how we organized ourselves in a flip pyramid, using technology to keep it flat. Although things are things that we evolve and we grew, and we feel that are totally different from what is happening in many of the rest of the companies that are trying to help other organizations to transform. And the third thing would be how we use AI. And here, I would say it is one of the largest findings that we have done in the past 2-3 years. And I think that AI should be applied to each important process you have in each of your organizations. I think AI needs to be used, in the case of Globant, but for those things that are really important. And which are the things that are really important for Globant? Writing code, designing, creating those experiences with these two things, but also recruiting and also managing our culture. So the third point in which we are reinventing, the third point in which we have been able to progress is using this, is using artificial intelligence for every single process that is important in the company. So let me start by the first, is how we do and we use artificial intelligence to augment how we code. In essence, a group of very smart people within Globant, within what we call our Globant X, is our laboratory of strange things, came to me saying, hey, Martin, we have something new here. OK, let me listen. And they told me, listen, we have been teaching these 2 neural networks with 1.5 million functions of Python. Functions of Python, for those that don't manage code, are very small pieces of code that has associated with them a description. And finally, they said, we don't need the descriptions anymore. We can read the code, and we can guess what is the code about. I said, what? Yeah, look, they placed a piece of code. They were saying, this is a login. They placed another piece of code. This is a call to an API. And immediately, my reaction was, hey, but we could accelerate massively how we code. how we produce code, the quality of that code. So the next step they made was to take those neural networks trained to understand code and apply it to a specific project. So we took one customer, we talked to them, we said, listen, we want to apply this concept to your specific project. We train the neural networks with the code of our customer, and then one programmer from Globant could reach and could search that code, search for what they need to do, and the pieces of code within the code of that specific customer will come up, and we will be able to copy that, paste, change the variables, and go ahead. Accelerating the way we code is the essence of what we are doing at Globant. And accelerating the way we, and the quality, how we produce code, as opposed to the traditional approach, which is let's maintain huge frameworks, is of the essence of what we do. So that's why we're applying artificial intelligence to how we code. We didn't stop there. We said, okay, one of the largest things we do is to recruit people. And in the process of recruiting people, there's always one step that is the final go. And that final go connects a lot with many of the interviews and things that technically happened before, but also with the guts of that person that is interviewing the last interview before they connect to the company, or they say yes. So what we did was we interviewed 3,000 of our best performers with a very specific questionnaire. General questions, nothing to do with technology specifically. So we trained the machines with those high performers. And the idea is that the next person that comes and the next candidate will answer the same questionnaire. And we will record not just what they say, but also how they move their hands, the facial expression, so on and so forth. The machine will tell us which is the probability of that person that we're interviewing becoming a high performer or not. The final decision, though, will be by the human. But there's one more tool to make us more effective when recruiting people and in the process of recruiting people. The two things that I have mentioned are the two single most important things we do at Globant: recruit people, create code. And the third one is how to maintain our culture. People already went through this, but embracing and being able to predict things and be able to understand what's going on inside the organization is the essence for us. When you see those green dots and red dots in the next image there, well, that means the Globers that has larger risk of leaving the company rather than others. And we do that training the machine with the people that left the organization, understanding the curves of engagement of the people that left the organization. Which is the fourth thing that we are doing in artificial intelligence is augmented design. And we know that creating interfaces is extremely important. And we know sometimes that design systems, the systems that create and has all the components to create a great design, are sometimes very difficult to use. So now we are using artificial intelligence, as you see, to do predictive design. A person writing, as you see on the demo, you can see on the demo outside, a person writing on a piece of paper, and the machine recognizing what they're writing and creating the design in real time, as you see there on the left. They're placing a header, an image, now some bullets with photos with content, and then some text, right? And immediately on the other side, the things are generated. So as a summary and to finalize, I really believe that in order to be successful as an organization that pretends to transform other organizations, you need to keep on reinventing yourself all the time. You need to keep on reinventing not just how you are organized, but just how you are conceived and how you apply artificial intelligence for pretty much everything. So that's why 5 years ago, when we ring the bell here in this house, and we become a public company, many said, OK, Martin, you have just done it. And I said, no, we're just starting. And today, I believe that, what we have done is great, but there's a space here in this industry to be able to reinvent the whole industry. And when I say reinvent the whole industry, I say this industry has not been, the technology industry, the technology consulting industry has not been applying technology to how to do things, has not been trying to reinvent how they are organized for at least 20 years. And we have the scale, we have the tools, and we have the energy to be able to do that. So that's why I pretend to say that we want, with Globant, our largest mission is not just to make the world a better place, which is great because with the scale we have and the projects we have, as you have seen, we are able to make the Metropolitan Police better. We are able to make some of our customers better in how they interact with their consumers. But also, we are reinventing the whole professional service space. And I invite all of you, to follow this dream and to be able to understand if the partners that are working with you are trying to apply this energy when they are trying to transform your own companies. Thank you very much.